Everyone, welcome to VRC with Gaurav. In this video, we are going to solve RC passage number 10 from the book RC 99 by Aristotle Prep. Okay, as usual, I recommend that you pause the video here, go through the entire passage, then use the timestamps that I put in the description box to go to the questions, jot down the answers using a pen and paper. Also, always a good idea to time your performance using a timer when you start reading the passage, and then come back to this point to check the explanation and the answers to the questions. Okay, so without any delay, let's get started. Coming to the genre of the RC passage, very clear cut, very straightforward, animal sciences. Okay, some people would also like to classify it under natural sciences, one and the same thing. Specifically, animal sciences RC passages, if you discount cat 23, okay, if you disregard that, till cat 22 we used to get, specifically I'm talking about cat exam, okay, we used to get animal science based passages like the one that you can see on the screen right now, maybe a bit more technical or maybe a bit more on the higher difficulty side, especially with respect to questions. But yes, this is a good idea. If you are looking to practice for diverse RC passage categories, then this is a fairly good RC passage to consider. Okay, but yes, once again a friendly reminder that cat 23 did not have a single RC passage on animal sciences. Okay, now, whether the trend is going to sustain or not, of course, nobody knows. By the time I'm making this video, Cat 24 is still a long way to go. Okay, so chalo. Talking about a particular animal here in this RC passage, and I generally tend to read RC passages with a bit of a sentimental or with a bit of an emotional side. Okay, so I was reading this passage from a point of view of a human being. Okay, so as a human being, I really did not like what I was reading. Of course, I'm not a huge fan of biology, and also being made to read about a parasite which can harm human beings like this uh, grossed out me a little bit. Okay, so the word that we're looking for, actually, the spelling and the pronunciation is a bit crazy. Okay, I'll put a link in the description box about a short YouTube video of 1 minute about how to pronounce this word. So one of the accepted pronunciations for this is Tsetse. Okay, you can think of like this, Tsetse. Okay, where the T is not very prominent like set. Okay, Tsetse, soft pronunciation. Okay. Anyway, that is not a concern. Let's not digress. The RC passage gives us a lot of information about this parasite, not parasite as such, about this animal and the disease that it caused and maybe some other problems related to it. Okay, so it's telling us, it introduces this animal to us, saying that it is native to Africa. Okay, and what does it do? It feeds on vertebrates. Okay, animals which have a backbone. So of course human beings आ जाते हैं उसके अंदर में, and you also have other major important animals also, livestock. When what do you mean by domesticated livestock? Cows, cattle, basically. Okay, we have cattle also and human beings. Okay, so why are we worrying about this animal, this fly, makhi? Okay, in human, sorry, in Hindi terms, it sounds very silly. Okay, but it is pretty deadly. What does it do? It can drink, it can consume a lot of human blood or animal blood. ठीक है भाई, ले लिया blood ले लिया, okay चलो, mosquitoes तो रोज ही करते हैं. But the problem here is that it can transmit a very deadly organism into our bodies when it is doing that. And what exactly is it? It can transmit a lot of dangerous diseases. One of the disease that it can give to human beings is called as African sleeping sickness. Okay, and in domesticated livestock and cattle, it can give Nagana is naam se disease. Okay, so what is so special, what is remarkable about this disease and how is it caused? The information given in the second para itself. There is a single celled organism by the name of trypanosome or trypanosome. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, what does this organism do? Single cellular. So of course microorganism की हम बात कर रहे हैं, cannot be seen with the naked eye. What does this do? Very deadly. What does this single celled organism do? Is it attacks the brain and the spinal cord, which are supremely crucial. Like after heart, probably the two most important organs that we have inside is the brain and the spinal cord. And when it does that, of course, it leads to eventual death. Why death exactly? It is given a little bit later in the third paragraph. I'll come to it. In human beings, what it is causing, the trypanosome causes damage to the brain and the spinal cord, leading to extreme lethargy. Okay, maybe it leaves us, renders us motionless, that we cannot move even if we want to. And when it comes to livestock, when it comes to animals like cow, buffaloes, all that, it destroys their red blood cells, in return giving them fatal anemia. Okay, anemia, lack of good blood, lack of supporting blood, of course, end of the story. Okay, so pretty dark start to the passage, and of course these are not friendly organisms to human beings, neither the fly nor the single celled parasite that it can transmit to a body. Now, for most people, especially those who have studied science till let's say the 12th grade, or maybe even engineering background students who are used to handling some kind of technical information, this might not have posed a lot of challenge, not just this para but rather the entire RC passage. But in case you are someone who struggles with retention of specific names, of specific information, this passage is loaded with a lot of factual data. So you can simply go for paraphrasing simple stuff like this. Like, what does the second para give you? You can simply write second over there, or maybe some other kind of shorthand writing, and you literally write that I would prefer to draw a Venn diagram actually over here. Everybody's style differs, but I go for something like this, that there is this Tsetse fly. Okay, the fly has what? This organism by the name of trypanosome. So I'm writing TRY. Please ignore my handwriting. It bites humans, it bites livestock. So a kind of transaction is happening over here. What transaction are we talking about? That it gives us disease, okay, by transferring this trypanosome to us, and in return, what is it taking from us? In return, it is taking our blood. Case closed. Okay, need not write or crowd it with a lot more detail. If at all a question arises later on, you can anyway come back to the second paragraph, read it very quickly once again, and then solve the problem. What paraphrasing often does for us is removes a bit of load from our brains, from our mind. कि चलो ठीक है, you don't have to map the entire passage very precisely in your mind. If you are someone who struggles with retention थोड़ा बहुत, so what does this do is, if at all there is a question about what is the relation between the fly, the parasite, trypanosome, and human beings, so you can just simply go to acha second paragraph. This is what I had written. This Venn diagram or this infographic sort of something can help you out immediately, or at least what it can do is prevent you from wandering in the passage कि boss कहाँ लिखा था, ये कहाँ लिखा था, वो कहाँ लिखा था. From this you can simply understand that no boss, in the second paragraph this information is given to us, let me read only the second para, and 99% you'll be able to solve the answer question. Okay, that's it. Okay, but yes, always keep in mind this is just an aid, not at all compulsory. Rather, it's very desirable if you can proceed with confidence without having to jot down any of this information. That's the ultimate goal actually that should be in your mind. Okay, chalo. Now moving ahead to the third paragraph. Third paragraph gives us good amount of gyan about why this disease, or rather why rather human beings are rendered helpless when they have to fight, when the bodies have to fight this trypanosome. ठीक है. Now once again थोड़ा biological information coming your way. I am also someone who is very poor at biology. How do we handle this? Let's not get lost in the jargon that is present in the third paragraph. ठीक है. Hardly any. For example, it's written over here by altering its genetic code, changing its antigen coating in resistance. Oh my god, I have absolutely no idea what it even means. Okay, I can't even visualize what is happening exactly. So what do we do in such cases? Very straightforward. Just remember that the third paragraph is giving you one single message only, that human body or human immune system has a very hard time fighting this parasite. Simple as that. Okay, this parasite is very smart, it is very quick on its feet. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ भी है this quick change. Okay, what is this quick change? The parasite does something. What is it? Something changing genetic code, blah blah blah. हमको नहीं समझ आता. It's okay, boss. Don't worry. Don't get fixated on understanding these terms then and there itself. ठीक है? Maybe use some kind of paraphrasing like the one on the screen before you right now. Even if you don't do it, it's completely fine. What should be a takeaway from the third paragraph? That the parasite trypanosome can trick our immune system, it can defeat our immune system, and human body has a really hard time fighting it off. Okay, so this quick change, this ability to fight human antibodies, human immune system, it has confounded pathologists and made the development of effective vaccine elusive. Okay, So this is a pretty dangerous infection that a human being can get, because even vaccines seem to be ineffective in fighting this. Pathologists, okay, आसान भाषा में in India actually pathologists तो वो होते हैं जहाँ पे हमारी blood test के लिए जाते हैं. They take samples of a blood and then analyze कि sugar कितना, this कितना, iron कितना, all that stuff. But here pathologist actually also means people who are studying our immune system and what is happening inside. ठीक है. So this quick change which the parasite can demonstrate, this छोटा सा microorganism which is actually devil, very difficult to even make vaccine for it. ठीक है. So that is the third paragraph. Fourth para, the discussion moves ahead, and really good kind of information, good amount of ज्ञान coming in over here. What does the fourth para say? कि यार चलो, author ने तो हमें इतनी खतरनाक बात बता दी about this fly that it can cause such dangerous diseases not just to human but also animals. So obviously we would like to eliminate it altogether. ना रहेगा बास, ना बजेगी बांसुरी. Okay, we cannot eliminate the microorganism, but we can eliminate uska carrier na. Just like when we want to fight malaria or dengue, what we try to do is eliminate the mosquitoes. Khatam. फिर वो dengue का virus or whatever causes dengue might stay away from humans ना. ठीक है. So same similar to that, there are people who are clamoring or demanding कि यार ये fly को ही आप eliminate कर दो. We should come up with some kind of solution to eradicate this Tsetse fly completely. Okay. Sounds good. Does it work? Don't know. Things are not so simple. Why? People who are saying कि चलो इनको eliminate कर देते हैं. At its core, the intention is very noble. That yes, human beings and livestock will be saved from a very dangerous parasite, not just in the form of that microorganism, but also that fly itself. ठीक है. And as a side benefit, what do they also say? कि ये fly जहाँ पर रहती है, where does it live? It lives in, where is it gone? Forest and savannas, basically wild areas. It is not prominent in urban areas or where human civilization is present, but largely in wild areas. So if we eliminate this fly, then what will happen? These wild areas will become accessible to human beings as well as the livestock, है ना? Which is a good thing apparently, that human beings can go in that place then, and maybe cows, cattle can go in those places, graze, and maybe their number can multiply. Overall, beneficial to the economy, है ना? This thing, this situation is actually a double-edged sword, and that is where people who oppose elimination of this fly come into the picture. Okay, there are two camps over here painted before us in the fourth paragraph. What is the first camp saying? Kill the fly. Okay, eliminate kar do isko. And they are saying no to this. Second camp. What does the second camp say? Ki the moment you eradicate this fly completely, cattle will invade these savannas, these grasslands. They will devour these places of its natural ecosystem. बिल्कुल अंधाधुंध वहाँ पे उनकी feeding होंगी, उनकी grazing होंगी. It will change the landscape completely. And where we have plush forest and grasslands today, one day we will have deserts in those places. Okay. So for this camp number 2, these guys are of the opinion that let the fly stay. In the sense, they are implying that the fly is a necessary evil. They are not denying कि ये fly की वजह से infections होते हैं, इतनी खतरनाक disease होती है. They accept that premise, but what they are saying that this is perhaps a necessary evil that we should have. I just realized that maybe I've written this text. It must have gotten hidden because of my video. Let me rewrite it once again over here. What do these guys say? The second camp, who don't want this fly to be eliminated, they are saying that fly is a necessary evil. Now keep in mind, they are not actually using these words. This is something that I have created, but should be fairly enough clear for you. Okay, all right. So that is the entire pull and push regarding this situation. On one side, you have camp number 1, where people want to eliminate this fly, and camp number 2 saying नहीं मत करो. अगर आपने ऐसा किया, तो a greater ecological disaster is waiting for us, where grassland will get converted eventually into deserts, which is of course not desirable, right? ठीक है. So that's about it. The fourth paragraph. तो 4 paragraphs हो गए, and a lot of information has already come our way. यहाँ पर I would encourage you to take stock of your own retention ability and figure out whether passages like this require paraphrasing, require jotting down notes from your end, or if you are comfortable enough handling passages like this कि नहीं चलो ठीक है, I can remember so far what I've read, not a major worry, can proceed without having to make some compulsive notes. Completely your call. ठीक है. Coming to the fifth and sixth paragraph, talking about the difficulty, even if you decide, let us say even if you decide कि नहीं यार मैं तो कैंप नंबर 1 का हूँ, I want to kill this fly for once and all, even if you are 100% clear of it and you are allowed to do that, the job is not that simple. ठीक है. Why so? First of all, this protozoan, this single celled microorganism, ये तो बॉस अलग ही होशियार है. It can fight off the human immune system very smartly. Even vaccines are not effective there. And what do we do? Okay, we try to eliminate the Tsetse fly. And about this paragraph, or the author says that scientists have actually tried to do it by eliminating the Tsetse fly, not successful. Very unfortunate situation. They haven't been successful till now. And we have also been given example of actual countries attempting some strategy also. We have Rhodesia ka example. What is Rhodesia done? By extensive brush cleaning, game shooting, chemical attack, blah blah blah, yet the fly persisted. Now here keep in mind, your job is not to fixate on the meaning of these terms. In a lot of RC passages you will come across such terms जो हमें 100% clear नहीं समझती है, and it is okay. What you should rather take away from such sentences, what it is trying to convey. This sentence is simply conveying a very straightforward fact. रोडेशिया ने उस फ्लाई को मारने की, एलिमिनेट करने की कोशिश की, बहुत सारे तरीकों से, did not work. Simple as that. Okay, I have no idea what is meant by brush cleaning. I have no idea about what is meant by game shooting. चलता है, चलता है, doesn't matter. Should not stop you. ठीक है. And lastly, it has also been given that aerial pesticide treatments have produced inconclusive results. ठीक है. So a lot of pesticides have also been used. Hardly any solution in mind. Hardly any solution coming out. Hardly any relief. Why is that so? Once again, some technical information coming before us in the last paragraph. Okay, let me clear up the screen a little bit. Maybe we can jot down if there is important point mentioned in the last para. Okay. The reproductive cycle of a Tsetse fly is such that a larva pupates underground for several weeks before it emerges as an adult fly. Okay, so this is where the problem lies. Now, unlike mosquitoes, what are we told about mosquitoes? That they can reproduce, that they lay their eggs on still water, stagnant water. So a lot of times we get government directories to, flush away, drain away any stagnant water that might be around us to prevent rise and spread of mosquitoes and dengue. Fair enough, good enough. But is the solution so simple when it comes to this Tsetse fly? No, boss. Why? Because it lays its eggs underground, below the land, below the soil. And जो उसकी offspring है, जो proper fly बनने के पहले जो different stages that an insect goes through before becoming an adult animal, it can stay there for weeks altogether, not just a matter of days, but literally weeks, which is very serious, which is very difficult. If something is living underground for a substantial amount of time, how can you ensure its elimination? है ना? Okay. And of course, after it emerges as an adult fly, it's so difficult to eliminate it because it can wander around, fly around pretty independently, है ना? So this makes the job very difficult. So you might say कि चलो ठीक है, जैसे हम पानी पे spread कर देते हैं chemicals, where we cannot drain the water, we spread chemicals on it. So on land, we will also spread the chemicals. Only if life was so simple, boss. इसमें दिक्कत क्या होती है? First of all, the intensity has to be very high. You have to do it a lot of times and the frequency has to be high because it can stay there for several weeks. ठीक है, आपने कर भी दिया. If you are very diligently spraying pesticides, insecticides over land, it can create problem by staying in there. The chemicals will stay in the soil, it will stay in the land, causing pollution and potentially causing a lot of harm to human beings and animals by seeping into land, by seeping into maybe other water sources, or all of that stuff mentioned over here. So what is given to us in the last paragraph is that it is very difficult to eliminate this fly. Even if you use very strong chemicals like DDT, which is actually a very popular pesticide, it threatens the health of human beings and the environment where this chemical can stay. So all in all, it's not so easy. Even if you try, maybe you will end up facing loss in other ways. Okay? So rounding off the passage, actually a lot of information has been given to us, a lot of information offloaded before the reader. Now everything depends on your ability to retain this information. If you are someone who is comfortable doing that, you might not find this RC passage as a challenge. But if you struggle with information itna sara and what to do, how to handle it, what could be a good way to do is, or simply start jotting down what is given in the first para, in the second, in the third, so on and so forth, and that's it. When the question comes to you, you can simply go to those para and read it again and tackle the question. Okay, so let's go and see what the questions are about. We'll go through the questions pretty quickly, and let me stop my video because I think it is covering the content. Okay, coming to the first question now. All of the following correctly describe relationship between what? The fly, the parasite, and vertebrates. Let us say human beings. Except, so we are going to have four options जहाँ पे the relationship between these three characters in the story is going to be accurate. One option where the information is going to be inaccurate. Let's see which option that might be. Okay, option A, coming to the first option, vertebrate blood provides nourishment for the transport of trypanosomes. This is true, this is correct. When the fly sucks the blood and it transmits the parasite in return to the bodies of vertebrates. So not the answer. Okay. B. The bite of the Tsetse fly can kill vertebrates. यहाँ तक this is so far so good. Since it often injects a deadly chemical. Oops, 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 oops. This is not correct. The fly does not inject any kind of chemical. It injects the parasite, trypanosome. That's it. Later on, the trypanosome wreaks havoc in the body. That's a different story. But the fly does not insert any kind of chemical. So this ends up becoming the answer, very straightforward, because this is not true. Okay. So other three options you can cross check with the paragraph, with the passage very easily. Still, if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. The answer here is actually very straightforward. That's why I'm not delving into the other options. I tend to explain other options when they are tricky. Okay. Chalo, let's go to the second question now. The author does not identify what? Which of the following as a characteristic of the Tsetse fly? Okay. Once again, pattern has to be similar to the last one, that you are going to have four options which give you the traits of this fly very accurately. One option is not going to give you the trait of the fly, and that is your answer. Option A, dependence upon vertebrate blood. Definitely, it relies on human blood, it relies on animals' blood to survive. So this is true, not the answer. B, ability to transmit a fatal parasite to livestock and human. Once again, very much correct. It can transmit this trypanosome as written in the second paragraph. True, out. C is where the fun lies. Ability to alter its genetic code. Whoa, this is not the fly. Okay, not the fly. Who can alter the genetic code? The trypanosome. It is mentioned over here. Let me highlight it. Yeah, disguising itself by altering its genetic code. Now, who is doing this? Okay, it's doing trypanosomes are doing it, not the fly. Okay, so that's where the answer lies, the fun lies, and hence answer becomes very straightforward. Option C. Okay, D and E you can also once again cross check. It is present in the passage and true about the fly. Third option should be easy to arrive at, and hence the answer. Still, if any doubts pertaining to the passage, pertaining to the questions, let me know in the comment section. If you're liking the content, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button very quickly. And now let's go to the third question. Okay. What does it say? According to environmentalists, which of the following accurately describe what? Relation between the fly and the African grassland. So for this, you need to look at only the fourth paragraph and nowhere else. Okay. So if you are struggling to recall what the fourth paragraph says, I would recommend that you read it at this point and then come evaluate what the options are like. Answer would be very straightforward. Word to word mentioned in the fourth para, answer option C. That if you destroy this fly, cattle will invade the grasslands, they will graze on it indiscriminately, and that will lead to this grasslands turning into what? Absolute desert. Okay, so that is why they are saying that the fly must remain for the sake of the land, in a way the necessary evil that we were talking about. Okay, option A, B, D, E of course have a lot of distortions present there, and you can eliminate those pretty confidently. Okay. Now let's go to the last question of them all. Very easy questions, to be very honest. Hardly any complexity, hardly any critical reasoning coming in. What is the primary purpose of the fourth para of passage? Voila, we just read it. Okay. इसी के ऊपर तो क्वेश्चन था तीसरा वाला. So what can be easier than this? So fourth para is doing nothing but giving you the conflict which is there between two groups of people. One group wants to eliminate the fly, second group wants it to stay. Okay. So let's evaluate which option would reflect this appropriately. Option E gets kicked out very easily because that is given in the last paragraph, not the fourth one. Discuss reproductive cycle of a Tsetse fly. No, boss, last para, not the fourth. Take it. To state that efforts to eradicate the Tsetse flies have generally proved to be ineffective. Now, you might be tempted to select this, but it misses the conflict angle. Plus, this is more specifically covered in the fifth para. Example of rhodesia, example of aerial pesticide treatment. That is why D also cannot be the answer. Okay. C. To discuss a beneficial impact of the Tsetse flies. Seems okay. Why? Because nowhere else in the passage have you been told about any good point about the Tsetse fly. Only in the fourth para, the unintentional blessing in disguise that is happening is कि because of this fly, cattle are staying away from forest, and that is playing a role in conservation of those grasslands, in conservation of those forests, which at the end is a good thing. So option C could be the answer. Could be the answer. Maybe. Let's not throw it out immediately. B देखते हैं. To argue that the proliferation मतलब तादाद में बढ़त होना. Reproduction, increase in number of the Tsetse flies can lead to large-scale deforestation of African grassland. Wait, what? No. Proliferation means increase in number. And when will African grassland turn into deserts? When the fly is eliminated. If the fly ka population increases, it will not turn on. It will turn into a desert when the fly is eliminated. So this word proliferation is absolutely horribly opposite to what we want out. A. To describe the harmful effects of the Tsetse fly. Not really. This is done primarily in the 1, 2 and 3rd paragraph. The second, most prominently the 2nd paragraph. So option A also gets kicked out. What are we left with? Left with an unlikely option C. कि पहली बार पढ़ने पे एकदम से इसके ऊपर में दिल नहीं आता. You might not be sold completely on this, but yes, it turns out to be the answer. ठीक है? So I hope that the explanation to the questions to the passage has been clear. If you like the content, please hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Share the video, share the channel with your friends, fellow exam aspirants. If you would like to know more about my batches, I coach aspirants for CAT, XAT, SNAP, and NMAT exams. I teach online. Okay. So if you want to know the details of these batches, if you want to know more about me, what the structure, the days of the batches, the fees, everything, you can get in touch with me on this mail ID or even give me a call on this number. More than glad to help you out. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.